And welcome back, everybody, once again to Orange Julius. I am TJ, the Obscure with you, and we are going to be heading into what I think is the final dungeon. And I do have to warn you that I kind of messed up on the audio. It's, sometimes I start my computer and I load up OBS, and for whatever reason, it just does not register my mic. And so I always try to make sure, that it is set to the correct mic, and then sometimes I forget, and this was one of those times, and it's such a bad time too, because it's, the final episode. I guess, I don't know, maybe I should spoil things now. It is the final episode, or is it? Dun dun dun. But yes, we are here in the final dungeon. As you can see, I'm being a lot less careful than I was the first time that I was in here, because I'm feeling rather spunky. I'm feeling rather invincible with my diamond armor and my golden apples and my unstable TNT and all the wonderful things that we required over the course of the map. And it is pure chaos in here, which is exactly what I had expected, of course. But gosh, this area is so much fun. It's kind of, again, this area almost feels like a microcosm of the map as a whole, maybe with a little less lava. But just how the layout, there's a path, kind of. There's structures, kind of. There's, some rhyme and reason to it, but not really. And so you have to just kind of forge your own path, make your own way, figure things out along as you go, in the funnest way possible, right? And I'm always a fan of these kinds of areas. Walkways over lava, staircases, narrow ledges, very vertical, lots of opportunities for mobs to fall on you and for you to fall on mobs. So all around, just a really exciting dungeon. And of course, we don't really know where we're going, besides that we're generally headed in that direction. If you notice, there's that huge wall of dispensers there in the back, and so I noticed that, and I'm like, okay, let's head to that. And I'm just, I don't have time for all of you skeleton guys. Let's just keep moving. Let's just keep running and hope that a charge creeper does not fall directly onto our heads. And for some reason, there's blaze spawning kind of on the outside at this point, which kind of confused me. I wasn't really sure what was happening. Oh gosh, and we got the creepers falling on us from up above. And the zombies attacking from below. I'm very, very paranoid about those creepers at this point in time. And I'm just trying to figure out, where do I want to go? How do I want to approach this? Part of me is tempted to just block straight up. But I was trying really hard to not cheese things too much. Because I feel like this area, and maybe that's true for kind of the map overall, is because it is a very much a kind of choose your own adventure map, forge your own path kind of map. I think a lot of players, myself included, are just kind of naturally pushed to the edges of areas, up against a wall, or if it's with the lava walkways, we stay to the side so that you're only activating one part of it. And I'm not sure that's necessarily a bad thing, but I was trying, for the sake of good footage, to not do too much of that, and to really kind of take on the dungeon head on and use the staircases and use the little walkways and all that kind of stuff, just to keep things exciting. And I think, as I'm rewatching all of this, that exciting is certainly one way to describe it. Again, pure chaos and anarchy, I think, is another way to describe it. There's just so much going on. So much going on, I don't even know where to begin with commentary. As one thought forms, something else has already happened. And we just gotta kind of keep going, keep pressing forward, keep moving. Things are happening. I guess we get a brief respite here, if you want to call it that, where maybe not too much is happening. I'm actually able to destroy a couple of spawners here and eat some food, and I'm going to grab a sip of coffee while I'm at it as well. And I'm actually surprised at this point that we haven't come across too many charge creepers, right? I thought we would be seeing a lot more of those guys. There's creepers falling every which direction. I'm not really sure where they're falling or where they're blowing up or where they're coming from. All I know is that I want to keep moving up and in that direction, although it's not really clear if up is really the right way to go or if it's... if we're going to be going down. We do know that this area goes quite a ways down, but since we started down, I've decided to kind of go up and back instead of down and back, so I don't know. I don't know if there's really any logic to any of the choices that I make in this episode, to be honest. It was just me trying to survive. And finally we start to see the charge creepers here. I have no idea how I made that jump, to be honest. And we're out of torches. And we are getting rather friendly with these charge creepers here. I want you to keep this spot in mind for future reference, alright? Just remember where we currently are. And remember that bedrock specifically is a good idea. But anyways, yes, more of the charge creepers, and I'm feeling very trapped and surrounded at this point in time, and just uncertain of what exactly I want to do. Again, we could go digging through walls. I realize that I'm right next to that giant wall of dispensers at this point, and so I wanted to kind of get a better view of things and see, and then we notice, there's the objective. And we notice the things falling. I think here is where I maybe start to kind of cheese the area a little bit and make my own path up, but it's like, we found the objective. Particularly in this kind of area, but once you see the objective, it's like, don't blame me if I decide to just tunnel straight to it, or staircase to it, or whatever. Trying to find a proper path in this mess is ridiculous, especially since that path will probably just explode as soon as we find it. Speaking of explosions, our gas friends are here to say hello. And I wanted to get somewhere kind of safe so that we could scope things out a little bit and see what exactly we needed to do. Obviously, we're in another one of these areas where there's just so many gas spawners that trying to kill them is going to be, you know, impossible, basically. I just checked my mic again to make sure it's not muted. I'm still worried about that now. Well, you can be muted in two different places. I can mute the actual mic, or I can mute it in OBS. And so, I just knocked it. Hopefully you didn't hear that. But the thing with the OBS is, like, it's hard to catch it, because, yeah. It's like, almost like my computer doesn't recognize the device driver or something upon boot up. So, I don't know. Anyways, we make our way over here to the objective. Secure things as best as we can. I thought we were going to have to take out a lot more spawners to get to it. That we were going to have to, like, go around to the actual glass, but you can actually go straight in from the top. And it is the red rule. All these chests around, all these spawners around. I had it in my mind that maybe we were going to come back to try to kind of clear things out. And also, just in case we die, having a safer place to return to would be nice. And then I'm just like, there's no point. There's so many mobs. There's so many gas. Just get me out of this place. I don't want to be here anymore. And I decided that I'm going to try to ender pearl out. I have this totally strategic water drop here. It's totally intentional, as I realized the water would be a better job of getting the mobs. Actually, that was totally unintentional. I did not mean to place water there at all, but it kind of worked out in the long run. For some reason, I'm like, let's check this chest, as I have the objective. And then I'm like, yes, let's, you know, risk the objective, because it's not like I'm wearing feather falling at this point in time. But just get me out of here. Light up all the things, walk directly into the lava. Remember, everything that I'm doing here is totally 100% intentional. Light up those diamonds, because we're going to come back for those later, of course. And more potential death there. We might have survived both of those falls, but I doubt it. I think both of those falls were pretty risky. And then we see the exit there. And at this point, I realize that we're pretty much, you know, pretty much safe. Pretty much, right? So yeah, that was the Red Bull area. Tons of fun. Gosh, I love this area so much. And I think here I'm explaining, like, I'm going to come back and I'm going to do more work here just for fun. Just because I enjoyed that area so much. I don't think there was really I mean, I'm trying to think. Some of the dungeons were a little too easy. I'm thinking of that one that was kind of, what was it? I forget which wool it was now. I think maybe it was like magenta wool, where it was kind of on the side of the tower and you had to like bridge into it and there were all the silverfish, and that one was too easy, I thought, especially for when we encountered it. Honestly, I think one of the hardest wools was probably purple, the first one that we got, simply because we were so undergeared at that point. I loved white wool, I loved red wool, I loved orange wool. I thought they were all lots of fun. I decided to just take, I don't want to go all the way back around. I'm pretty sure there's a shortcut right here. So I just block up and take the shortcut back to base. And yeah, just such a fun map. I do think that I would have preferred maybe a little bit more variety in dungeons and a little less how compact everything was, like a little more spread out, a little more variety. But again, it's less like here's this individual unique dungeon, and it's like all one just giant dungeon really, with each kind of objective just hidden around, which in some ways reminds me of some of the earlier CTM maps. So I guess it's just a different style, and I think part of that is just me wanting it to have lasted longer, really. So I think that's maybe part of it. Aesthetically, though, it looks so cool, right? And it just looks so intimidating and reminds me a lot of older, like, arcade-style games, particularly things like Mega Man, I think, to some degree. With the little walkways and all that kind of stuff. I think loot probably could have been a little more interesting. I know the idea was scarcity, but I think more unique loot would have been nice. Some custom items to really make exploring seem more worthwhile. But there we go. Orange or red wool has been placed. Orange Julius is complete. Bum 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 bum. At this point, I think I go into creative mode so that I can fly around and kind of experience things to some degree. I wanted to check out these structures, which one of you explained that the structures are just basically for looks, for appearance. I think if I had my view distance set to 16, you'd probably be able to see them a little better. And then one of you informed me that there's I guess you would call it a bonus objective of sorts. And so I wanted to check that out as well. But yeah, just these random structures off in the distance. It's like it's just the whole world is comprised of these lava walkway things. It's kind of interesting. I assume that we probably missed some stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's not a lot of bad stuff that I want to say about the map. I love the resource scarcity and think it probably could have even been even more scarce than it was. Although I think the resource that I had the hardest time finding was cobblestone, interestingly enough. Although once we got access to water, that didn't really matter. But I loved that the water was there, but it was like if you want this water, you're gonna have to really fight for it. I'd love to see more of that kind of stuff in maps. Like, I know there's this idea like, oh, but if the player loses it and if it's something essential for the map, then they're going to have a really hard time progressing. And I know that balancing that is really hard. And part of me thinks like, well, tough luck, restart the map. I'm not, that's how I would handle it in the past. There have been times where I've had to restart entire maps because I've lost something, you know, and it's just like I'm not really opposed to that, but I think a lot of people are. But still, just like making these really special items really hard to get, I think is something that is really fun. It really makes it seem worthwhile, you know. But yeah, this is where the kind of bonus objective is. So it took me a little while to kind of find it. In fact, I can't remember if I even did find it here, or maybe I just saw it there. I kind of forget now what it even was. I think it was like a really good pickaxe, right? I don't even know if I would consider that a bonus objective. Or maybe it was the elytra. I don't even know where the elytra comes from. Maybe the elytra comes from when you beat the map. I'm not sure. But I did record a little bit more of me going through the Redwood dungeon, so I included that here at the very end after the after my commentary is over. So feel free to enjoy that if you want. And overall, thanks to Cake for creating a fantastic map. I'll probably play some jam maps next and see what those are like. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna be it from me for today. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.